Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we are going, today is our food technology class. This is our first class of 6M. So today we will be discussing the single cell proteins. Today we will be discussing single cell proteins. As the name indicates, single cell proteins, it means the single cells are used as a protein source. As the name indicates, single cell protein means we are using single cell as a protein source. Or we can say these are proteins derived from cells of microorganisms. Or we can use whole microorganism as a protein source. We call these proteins as a edible unicellular microorganisms. हम इनको और क्या कहते हैं? Edible unicellular microorganisms. The organisms which are used for the production, for the organisms which are used as a SCP, these organisms are having ability to grow on various carbon sources. जो भी हम लोग organisms use करते हैं as a single cell protein production के लिए, वहाँ का जो कार्बन सोर्स है वो वास्ट वैरायटी है. मीन जो भी हमें चीप से चीप कार्बन सोर्स मिलता है वो हम लोग यूज कर सकते हैं फॉर द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ these microorganisms, and these microorganisms are used as a single cell protein. We call them as also as a edible unicellular microorganisms. Sometimes we take only single organism as a single cell protein, or sometimes we mix one or two cultures together for production of these proteins. These proteins are used as a protein-rich food. As we know nowadays, the athlete people are mostly on the protein diet, so they mostly take these single cell protein diet. Even it has been said that when you have to reduce your weight, that time one may need to shift to the protein-rich diet. Can anyone answer me why protein-rich diet? Because it takes a lot of energy to break down these proteins. So their metabolism is quite difficult. So that is the reason that we have to shift, because carbohydrates, if we will take, that can be easily broken down. But proteins, it needs time, it needs lots of energy to get broken down. Plus, when we are on the protein-rich diet, that time be sure that we are having ample of water. But this question is still with you. I need answer in the next lecture. These single cell proteins should be suitable for human consumption. Mostly the single cell proteins are mostly used as a supplements for humans. Plus, these proteins are also used as an animal feed. ये जो हम लोग single cell protein production करते हैं, ये हम लोग इंसान के लिए भी use कर सकते हैं. One. Second, it can be used for the animal feed also. These single cell protein not only contain the proteins, plus they are having many minerals present in them, vitamins and lipids also. So the term was coined by Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 1966. So it's not the new concept. Plus, this concept has been evaluated in the 1966. Mostly these microorganisms contain 40 to 55% of proteins. Mostly these organisms contain 45 to 55% of proteins. Even they didn't say only that single cell can be, prokaryotic cell can be used as a single cell protein. They said that any microbial biomass from both unicellular or multicellular can be used as a single cell proteins. Means हम लोग उसमें unicellular और bacteria भी ले सकते हैं और multicellular fungi भी ले सकते हैं या algae भी ले सकते हैं as a protein source. Even जो हमारा range है ना, it's मतलब range is for is between the 45 to 50. It's the maximum range. It's the like optimum range for the proteins, but it has been seen that we are having certain bacteria which contain 80% of protein in them. We will discuss that organism also. There are certain bacteria which are having as high as 80% of protein in them. So these proteins are directly used by us. Earlier, what for protein rich diet, earlier they used to have soybean meals and fish proteins. These soybean meals and fish protein used to be very costly, irrespective of the single cell proteins which we isolate from unicellular or multicellular organisms. Now, we have to choose our organisms, whether it's yeast, fungi, algae, or bacteria. They should be having certain specific characteristics. These organisms should be having specific characteristics. So if we will talk about their characteristics, these are these organisms which we are using, which we are going to use as a single cell protein for animal and human purpose. They should be non-pathogenic. These organisms should be non-pathogenic to both humans as well as animals. ये pathogenic नहीं होना चाहिए. So we have, before selecting our organism, we should be able to know its pathogenicity. Means हमें उसका पूरा life cycle पता होना चाहिए, उसका reproduction mode पता होना चाहिए, उसका growth और उसकी interaction with the environment पूरी पता होनी चाहिए. And we should be make sure that this organism at any cost is not pathogenic in its life cycle. The organism which we are going to produce as a single cell protein should have good nutritional value. The organisms which we are going to use as a single cell protein, overall, they should have good nutritional value. It's not only we are talking about the proteins, it should be able to have good number of vitamins, minerals, plus lipids. The production of the single cell protein should be cheap. It should be cost effective. The production should be cost effective. It means whatever the growing medium plus culture conditions, third, the extraction process, all these processes should be very cheap. Then only the production of single cell protein will be cheap, and the production and the process should be easy. Like हमें typical processes नहीं चाहिए, हमें अभी इसके लिए -2, -3 लगेगा नहीं. Easily, at least within the range up to the 30-40 degree centigrade इसका temperature रहना चाहिए. It should be easy and cheap to maintain. With complexity होगी तो that time it will be cost effective. So we have to choose such organism which should be easily available. It should be grow on cheap carbon source, and the downstream processing of these organisms should be very cheap. Plus, they should not be able to produce toxins. Like we are having many bacteria which are able to produce toxins. We are having many fungi which includes mold. These molds are also able to produce toxins. The example is Saccharomyces cerevisiae is there. No, not Saccharomyces cerevisiae. S. aureus is there. Aspergillus are there. What more? Aspergillus, S. aureus, Staphylococcus aureus. The Staphylococcus aureus are having such a vast variety of toxins they are producing. The whole toxins which are produced by the S. aureus are called as endotoxins. मीन जो ये स्पीशी है ना स्टेफाइलोकोकस ऑरियस, ये इतने सारे टॉक्सिन्स प्रोड्यूस करती है कि उस पूरे क्लास को क्या कहा गया है, एंडोटॉक्सिन्स. सो वी हैव टू मेक श्योर दीज ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर नॉट टॉक्सिक. एंड द सेपरेशन डाउनस्ट्रीम प्रोसेस जो लास्ट की है ना हमारी सेपरेशन प्रोसेस, जहां हम लोग हमारे माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स को सेपरेट करते हैं फ्रॉम द मीडियम, इट शुड बी चीप. डाउनस्ट्रीम प्रोसेसिंग इसकी चीप होनी चाहिए. Now, the first example of our single cell proteins are algae. Algae as a single cell protein. The best example of the algae which we are using as a single cell proteins are cholera or spirulina. Cholera or spirulina. We all know they are having these organisms or these algae are able to grow, or these genera, they include many species there. These two genera are able to grow in ponds or tanks. जो ये दो ये जीनस वाले ऑर्गेनिजम्स है, ये क्या करते हैं, किस में ग्रो करते हैं? They can naturally grow in the ponds or tanks. Plus, they are able to go for photosynthesis, means they are able to utilize carbon dioxide, environmental carbon dioxide and sunlight as a substrate. It means the substrate, जो हमारा ये मीडिया है वो कहाँ से मतलब बना रहे, खुद ही बना रहे, from the environmental carbon plus the sunlight. So हमारा जो इनिशियल कॉस्ट है वो 0 हो गया. ठीक है, तो इट मीन्स इसका फिर हम लोग डायरेक्टली फिर इसकी डाउनस्ट्रीम प्रोसेसिंग करेंगे, सिंगल सब प्रोटीन्स ले सकते हैं हम लोग. लेकिन इसका एक लिमिटिंग फैक्टर है, ये जो हमारे ये कॉलेरा है या स्पिरुलिना, इसका एक लिमिटिंग फैक्टर है दैट दे आर एबल टू प्रोड्यूस देयर इल्यूमिनेशन, दे इल्यूमिनेट ड्यूरिंग द लाइट. इल्यूमिनेशन प्रोसेस जो इसका है वो एक लिमिटिंग फैक्टर है इसका. These cholera are having good source of amino acids, except they are deficit in sulfur containing amino acids. सारे अमाइनो एसिड्स इसमें प्रेजेंट है, लेकिन वो अमाइनो एसिड्स जिनमें सल्फर प्रेजेंट है वो इनमें डेफिसिट रहता है. ओवरऑल देखा जाए इसमें जो प्रोटीन कंटेंट है, प्रोटीन कंटेंट जो क्रूड प्रोटीन कंटेंट है, इट्स अप टू 60%. जो स्पाइरुलिना और कॉलरा में कितने परसेंट हम लोग प्रोटीन्स पाते हैं? 60% ऑफ प्रोटीन. अगेन एवरीथिंग इज हैविंग एडवांटेज एज वेल एज डिसएडवांटेज. इनकी डिसएडवांटेज ये है कि इनमें हाई कंटेंट ऑफ क्लोरोफिल है. दैट इज द रीजन दीज एल्गे, कॉलरा और स्पाइरुलिना आर नॉट सुटेबल फॉर ह्यूमन यूज. अगर हमें इसको ह्यूमन यूज करना है, देन दैट टाइम वी हैव टू गो फॉर removal of chlorophyll from these algae. First was the rich chlorophyll content in them. Second is low density, that is 1 to 2 gram weight per liter. 1 to 2 gram dry weight per liter, means बहुत ही कम इनकी cell density है. These algae can be easily get contaminated, so risk is always present there. And the recovery method is very costly, and the recovery method is very costly. Now, second is our second example for single cell proteins are. Yes, beta.
Ma'am, ये जो आपने बोला ना,
so now the second is our filamentous fungi. In this filamentous fungi, the best examples are Aspergillus fumigatus, Aspergillus fumigatus, and Aspergillus niger. The best example of filamentous fungi which are used as a single cell proteins are, first is Aspergillus fumigatus and Aspergillus niger. जो ये Aspergillus fumigatus है, they use maltose as a carbon source. जो हमारा Aspergillus fumigatus है, they use maltose as a carbon source. First. Second, जो हमारा Aspergillus niger है, they use cellulose as a carbon source. They use cellulose as a carbon source. These are the two examples with two different carbon sources. But mostly the carbon source these fungi are using are polysaccharide hydrolysates. Polysaccharide hydrolysates, and the examples are starch hydrolysate and sulfite liquors. जब हम लोग वुड पल्प के साथ काम करते हैं ना, इन वुड पल्प इंडस्ट्री में, तब हमें ये एक्सट्रैक्ट मिलते हैं, वेस्ट होता है ये. सो दीज वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट, दीज एक्सट्रैक्ट कैन बी यूज्ड एज अ कार्बन सोर्स फॉर द ग्रोथ ऑफ फिलामेंटस फंजाई. तो इनमें ये है कि मींस जो हमारा वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट रहता है, वी कैन यूज दीज वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट फॉर आवर ग्रोथ ऑफ ऑर्गेनिजम्स. जो ये हमारे फिलामेंटस फंजाई है, मोस्टली दीज आर सबमर्ज्ड कल्चर्स. ये क्या है? लाइक यीस्ट. ये हमारे क्या होता है? पानी की अंडरग्राउंड में ये ग्रो करता है, मींस सबमर्ज कल्चर्स है हमारे। और मोस्टली जो ये हमारी फिलामेंटस फंज है, ये तो फिलामेंटस होते हैं या तो ये पैलेट फॉर्म में बनते हैं। जो फिलामेंटस फंज है मोस्टली ये क्या है, या तो ये फिलामेंट, एक तो सबमर्ज्ड कल्चर्स है ये। फर्स्ट ये सबमर्ज्ड कल्चर्स का कॉन्सेप्ट आप और पढ़ोगे इन द, आपका जो कोर पेपर है ना इंडस्ट्रियल, वही है, क्या है कोर पेपर आपका। सो देयर यू आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस दी सबमर्ज्ड कल्चर्स इंशाल्लाह। सो सबमर्ज्ड कल्चर्स को ये पानी के अंदर जो कल्चर्स होते हैं, सरफेस कल्चर, सबमर्ज्ड एज नेम इंडिकेट्स इट्स अ मर्ज्ड कल्चर। ये जो हमारे फ्लैमेटस फंज है, या तो ये फ्लैमेटस बनाते हैं या तो ये पैलेट फॉर्म में बनाते हैं। जो इनका प्रोटीन कंटेंट है, इट कम्स इन द रेंज ऑफ 50 to 55। जो फिलामेंटस जो फिलामेंटस फंजे का जो क्रूड प्रोटीन कंटेंट है, इट्स अप टू 50 to 55। इनकी जो ये अगर ये फिलामेंटस है या तो पैलेट है, इनकी जो रिकवरी प्रोसेस है वो काफी इजी है। या तो इनको ये मतलब पैलेट फॉर्म में है तो उनको क्या कर सकते हैं, इजीली फिल्ट्रेट कर सकते हैं, या तो इनको सेंट्रीफ्यूज कर सकते हैं। पैलेट फॉर्म में है या तो फिलामेंटस फॉर्म में, इनको इजीली क्या मोस्टली इनको फिल्ट्रेट किया जाता है, लेकिन कहीं कहीं पे इनको सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन के लिए भी यूज, मतलब सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन से भी एक्सट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं। नाउ इसकी डिसएडवांटेज क्या है फिलामेंटस फंजे की, स्लो ग्रोथ रेट है, दीज कैन बी कंटामिनेटेड बाय यीस्ट। जो हमारे फंजे है दीज कैन बी कंटामिनेटेड बाय द यीस्ट। इनमें हाई न्यूक्लिक कंटेंट है। इट हैज बीन एस्टिमेटेड दैट देयर इज 15% ऑफ आरएनए प्रेजेंट इन देम। तो हम लोग डायरेक्टली आरएनए ऐसे ले नहीं सकते, न्यूक्लिक एसिड कंटेंट नॉट गुड फॉर ह्यूमन कंजम्पशन। इवन उसमें माइकोटॉक्सिन्स होता है। इवन उसमें अगर यीस्ट है, यीस्ट का एक ये है दूसरा पार्टनर है मोल्ड, तो मोल्ड आर एबल टू प्रोड्यूस और माइकोटॉक्सिन्स। सो हमें ध्यान रखना कि ये सारी चीजें इसमें ना हो। नाउ द थर्ड एग्जांपल इज आवर yeast as a single cell protein. We have like different examples are there, or members. There are many members of Saccharomyces or Candida, which can be used for the production of single cell proteins. They have good amino acid content, but they are deficit in the sulfur containing amino acids. ये इनमें एक drawback है हर एक organisms में, not in mostly in the bacteria, but इनमें देखा गया कि sulfur containing जो amino acids है वो उनमें deficit रहता है. Rest, if you talk about the other amino acid content, they are quite good enough. Their protein content, crude protein content is 55 to 60%. जो इनमें protein content है वो कितना है 55 to 60%. Again, they are having different advantages like slow growth rate, high nucleic acid content are there. Now the last example of our single cell proteins are bacteria. Mostly we use bacteria for the production of single cell proteins. And the example is Cellulomonas, alkalogenes, and Methylophilus methylotropous. Cellulomonas, alkalogenes, Methylophilus methylotropous. These are the three different examples which are used as a production of single cell proteins. Why we are using bacteria as a production of single cell protein is because that we all know that the bacteria are able to grow on large number of carbon substrates. जो भी हमारे पास कोई भी substrate रहा होगा ना, that can be used as a carbon. So जो भी हमारा waste product रहा होगा, if that has a carbon content, obviously that will be having carbon content. So these can be used for the production of these bacteria, and these bacteria are used as a single cell proteins. So जो ये Methylophilus methylotropous है, this is one of the important bacteria as they contain as high as 80% of crude protein. जो ये हमारा है ना Methylophilus methylotropous, this contain our क्या 80% of crude protein. अगर इनमें 80% है, so what it means that this is best source and this is the best source which can be used for single cell proteins. Overall, there is good amount of amino acid present, except they are deficit in the sulfur containing amino acids. आपके लिए क्वेश्चन है, in every point I have discussed that we are having sulfur deficit components or sulfur deficit amino acids. In next lecture, do mention this thing. I need to answer from you guys that why we are having sulfur deficit amino acids there. So disadvantages of this are they are having high nucleic content, like it has been estimated that the RNA content is up to the 20%. We can go for RNA, so ये मतलब RNA का हम लोग कुछ ना कुछ इलाज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन RNA मतलब नहीं होना चाहिए ओरल, क्योंकि उसके आगे हम लोग उसका ट्रीटमेंट करेंगे. ट्रीटमेंट कैसे करते हैं हम लोग? RNA का कुछ पढ़ा है कहीं पे किसी ने? रिपीट, आप कुछ बोलो. RNA का कहीं पे पढ़ा है? उसको कैसे कर सकते हैं? अल्कलाइन हाइड्रोलिसिस से कर सकते हैं अल्कलाइन ये RNA का ट्रीटमेंट, but again that is quite cost effective, so overall that will increase the cost of your SAP. So if it is the bacteria, there will be some bacteria, they will be pathogen to the humans, so we have to always screen whether all the bacteria are like all the bacteria are friendly है कि नहीं है, या pathogen तो नहीं है कोई. And most is इनकी जो है ना रिकवरी प्रोसेस में प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है. इनकी जो प्रॉब्लम है उसमें क्या हो जाता है, रिकवरी प्रोसेस में प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है. और मोस्टली वी हैव टू चेक फॉर एंडोटॉक्सिन्स. हमें पता है स्पोर फॉर्मिंग बैक्टीरिया आर देयर, सो दीस स्पोर फॉर्मिंग बैक्टीरिया आर आल्सो एबल टू प्रोड्यूस द एंडोटॉक्सिन्स, so we have to always make sure that there is not presence of any endotoxins. Now if we talk about the single cell protein processing, how these single cell proteins are processing. First, we have to make the preparation of substrate. That is, we have to be sure that whatever the medium we are using is good enough for the growth of the microorganisms, as these substrate act as a carbon source for their growth. को पहले हमें medium select करना है. Second, हमारा organism select करना है कि these organisms should be enough able to grow on these substrate. Then we have to see how these organisms, whatever the organism which we have selected, how these organisms will be separated and processing. We have to make sure that whatever the process, either starting from the preparation, production, separation, and processing, it should be quite enough cost effective. It should be quite enough cost effective. कहीं पे भी cost चला गया ज़्यादा, then the company is not able to produce those single cell proteins, क्योंकि उनका फिर फायदा नहीं रहता है. मार्केट में प्रोडक्ट महंगा आएगा तो कंज्यूमर नहीं लेगा. जितना मार्केट में सस्ता आएगा उतना कस्टमर रेट ज्यादा हो जाता है. Even we don't only concentrate on the substrate like carbon source, we have to add many like minerals or other elements also, like phosphate, we have to add potassium, magnesium, manganese. Even sometimes we are adding gases, ammonia. मीन्स ये नहीं कि एक ही कंपोनेंट डालना, नहीं, उसमें सारे कंपोनेंट डालें जिसकी वजह से हमारा क्या है, ऑर्गेनिजम्स अच्छे से अच्छा ग्रो कर पाएगा. सो दिस इज द वन डायग्राम जो हमारा सिंगल सा प्रोटीन है. मिथेनॉल, ठीक है, जो हमने अभी पढ़ा ना, वो मिथेलोट्रोपस मिथेलोफिलस जो हमने अभी एग्जांपल पढ़ा, दैट ऑर्गेनिजम्स इज हैविंग 80% ऑफ क्या है हमारा नहीं मिथेनॉल अलग है, उसके लिए नहीं है, सॉरी. Now here I have given a one simple fermenter in which we are able to produce the single cell protein. This fermenter was developed by Imperial Chemical Industry. This is the first fermenter which were used for the production of single cell proteins, So it's a very simple diagram, as you can see in the diagram. So from your left hand side, we are giving nutrition solution with the first we are giving the nutrition solution from here. Then we are adding the inoculum. Inoculum is the pilot sample for the organisms. So the process is happening. The process is carried in this fermenter. Then at the right hand side at the top, the product is removed. But we know when there is a metabolism process, there will be the generation of heat. So they have attached cooling jackets. And the flow is from top to bottom. So flow is from top to the bottom. So we are having, when there is a reactions occurring or metabolism occurring inside this fermented, so there aerobic respiration. If aerobic process is here, then we have to allow sterile air to coming at the base. But we have to make sure that the temperature of the fermenter should be maintained in the range of 38 to 40 degrees centigrade. 38 to 48 degree centigrade. And the pH is 6.8. And here we are using methanol as a carbon source. And the organism for this fermenter they have used it was Pseudomonas methyllotropus. So they have used it Pseudomonas methyllotropus. Methanol is having one importance that most of the waste product in the companies are in the form of methanol. First, methanol is cheap substrate and it's easily available. So scientists or the companies mostly use methanol as a substrate or as a carbon source. So in this fermenter, first they have used Pseudomonas methyllotropus, and the output was 4 to 30 grams per liter. Dry weight की मैं बात कर रही हूँ, ठीक है? It was 4 to 30 grams per liter. Then they recovered this product from centrifugation या तो filtration से. Then under hygienic conditions, the final product was made. And packed and sealed and was available in the market as a single cell protein.